If you're planning a trip to Vietnam, I hope our Vietnam travels help you plan an epic family holiday. We spent a week in Vietnam with our kids, and I thought I'd share our 1 week Vietnam itinerary with you today to kick things off. We landed in Ho Chi Minh City, still referred to as Saigon by many locals, and we knew we had to make our way north to Hanoi because that's where our return flight was out of. On day one, we hung out with family as my brother lives in Saigon. We started our day with some fresh juice, some baked goods, all before shopping at Ben Thanh Market, and then we enjoyed one of the best meals we've had on this trip. We sat on the street corners, ate this delicious meal, and honestly, I think they deserve a Michelin star, but hey, that's just me. We also drank local beer, ate ice cream, and then, while the kids went to a dog cafe with their aunt and uncle, Chris and I visited the War Remnants Museum. We ended our day at the night market and tried all sorts of dishes. Anything and everything that my brother thought we should eat, we gave it a go, and then we returned home, tired, but very happy on day one. And when I said home, I meant my brother's place because that's where we stayed when we were in Ho Chi Minh City. Day two was all about the Mekong Delta. We organized a full-day private tour with Ecolux Travel TMC, an agency I found on Facebook, and they helped us with most of our tours during our week-long Vietnam trip with kids. This was certainly a highlight, and I'll be making a detailed video about our day in the Mekong Delta because each family member tried different things and we learned about so many food items that we didn't think about before, and certainly worth a dedicated video, so stay tuned. Day three, we woke up and enjoyed what would be the best egg coffee we had on this trip before boarding a Vietjet flight to Da Nang. Everyone had freaked me out about Vietjet cancellations and delays, but all was totally fine. We had connected with a local drive-in Da Nang via the Vietnam Travelers Facebook group, and we were greeted and driven to the Citadines Pearl Hoi An as soon as we landed, and this would be our home for the next 2 nights. We quickly made our way to Hoi An to eat the bammies, shop, and take in the evening vibes, including releasing lanterns on the water. Certainly a busy day for day three, but again, we're in a new city and this is definitely a spot that the kids love. So on day four, we woke up to gloomy skies, but decided to have breakfast at the hotel, which is included. Any hotel that you stay at in Vietnam pretty much includes breakfast, so that's a great deal. Akira and I then decided to get our nails done. We heard about the amazing nail salons throughout Vietnam and finally had a morning where we could sneak out and get them done. So that's what we did, and we wandered around the ancient quarter when it was really quiet in the early hours, which was really nice. Many a banh mi was enjoyed in Hoi An. Any chance we had one. And because the sun had started peeping, we decided to spend the afternoon at the hotel splashing around in the pool. Next up later that afternoon was the coconut basket tour, which was a highlight for the kids. This is thrilling. They spin you really fast, and if you book a tour like ours, you also end with this epic meal. More on that on a future day. Obviously, we had to end our last night in Hoi An back at the ancient quarter, soaking in those nighttime vibes, which was super cute. Day 5 saw us back at the airport flying into Hanoi. This time it was with Vietnam Airlines, and once again it was a smooth experience. Upon landing, Ecolux Travel Agency had a driver ready to whisk us to Ninh Binh and Tam Coc, and this was a 2.5-hour drive. We did stop at a mediocre roadside food joint on the way, so I highly recommend telling your drivers not to stop at these spots, even though they say that it's the cleanest spot and the most tourist friendly. Honestly, we had no issues eating from any of the street vendors. Anyway, here we are in Tam Coc. With an adult and child in each rowboat, we went into the limestone caves and enjoyed the beautiful village scenery here. The highlight was watching these hardworking people row with their feet. So we also visited the Bic Nong Pagoda and climbed the 100 steps to the top. The kids ran most of the way and got there before me, but I took my own sweet time. So on this trip, we actually wanted to try a homestay because we'd heard great things about this option instead of a hotel, so we stayed at the Tam Coc Dibi Village. It was pretty basic. I think the best part for us was it's just one night and it was within walking distance to some restaurants, so that was great for us. And this is a room, pretty standard, but it had a little pool area, so enjoyed that later in the night. And the next day they had a pretty good breakfast, homemade stuff, so good. But for me, the highlight of coming to this area was the Ho Lu Ancient Quarter. This was my favorite experience here. Sadly, we got here after dark, which meant that all of us were really tired after a full day of flying in and doing all the activities. But we did soak in the evening vibes here, and we sailed on a sampan boat in the lake and just enjoyed all the twinkly lights. Next morning, it was an early wake up for us because we had to make our way to a Halong Bay cruise, and this was about a 2.5 hour drive away. But this means that on day 6, we were on board our cruise and we enjoyed all these activities. I chose the Rosy cruise mainly because of this bathroom. I wanted the bathroom views. I have no shame in saying this. But the cruise is fantastic. I'll do a dedicated video soon. They had plenty of activities for us. The food was great. The service was fantastic. And day 7 saw us return to Hanoi by early afternoon, where we linked up with family and enjoyed numerous cups of Vietnamese coffee. We ate good eats. We drank craft beer. We even saw a water puppet show and bought some chocolate as gifts for family back home. And while the kids went to bed, we decided that after the night market, we really just wanted some cocktails. So we enjoyed our last toast in Vietnam, which is a beautiful country. And there you go. That's how we chose to spend our week in Vietnam with kids. I'll be sure to share more details about each of the places we visited. And hopefully this overview of our 7-day Vietnam itinerary encourages you to start thinking about exploring Vietnam.